Ever stop to wonder who actually controls what ends up on our plates? Food is something we all need, something we gather around, but it's also deeply political. At its core, food politics is all about power. It's a web of influence that connects corporations, governments, and regulatory bodies. It's about decisions on who grows our food, who sells it, and who benefits from its sale. Food politics affects every step of our food's journey, from farm to table and beyond. But it's not just about business, it's about access, affordability, and justice. It's about why some communities have grocery stores on every block, while others have none. It's about the policies that decide what food is subsidized, what's labeled organic, and what ends up affordable or inaccessible. Think about the brands you see most often in stores. Many of them are owned by a few massive corporations. These companies control not just what foods are available, but also what's marketed, what's advertised, and even what ingredients are allowed. And as these companies grow, they influence what's prioritized in agriculture, often placing profits over public health. For example, heavily processed foods are often cheaper because they're subsidized by government policies, while fruits and vegetables, foods that genuinely nourish us, are often more expensive. These imbalances aren't accidental, they're the result of powerful lobbying by corporations that benefit from keeping cheap, processed foods widely available. Now let's talk about food deserts and food insecurity. These terms get thrown around a lot, but what do they really mean? Food deserts are areas, often low-income and marginalized communities, where people have little or no access to fresh, healthy food. Imagine living miles away from the nearest grocery store and relying on corner stores for most of your food. That's the reality for millions of people. And then there's food insecurity, a term that means not having reliable access to enough affordable, nutritious food. Food insecurity isn't just a temporary lack of food, it's an ongoing struggle. This means people are often forced to choose between paying bills or buying groceries, affecting both their health and their quality of life. The food industry spends billions on marketing every year, shaping our tastes and habits from a young age. Think about the flashy ads for sugary cereals or fast food that flood our screens, often targeting children. These ads shape perceptions of what food is fun or desirable, impacting lifelong eating habits. There's a reason fruits and vegetables don't get billion-dollar ad budgets. The food industry knows that if they can hook people early, they'll have customers for life. This raises big questions about freedom of choice. Are we actually choosing our food, or are we being influenced to think we are? Food systems affect everyone, but not everyone benefits equally. Agricultural workers, for instance, often work long hours in challenging conditions and earn wages that barely cover basic living costs. Many of the people who harvest our food can't afford the very food they help produce. Social justice in food systems means advocating for fair wages, safe working conditions, and accessible food for all. It's about addressing the exploitation that happens across the supply chain and recognizing the power imbalances that exist. Despite these big issues, communities are pushing back and finding ways to regain control over their food. Urban farming, community gardens, and local food cooperatives are examples of how people are reclaiming power, growing their own food, and supporting local food systems. These efforts are about building resilient food networks that prioritize access, justice, and sustainability. Every step toward local food independence is a step toward reducing the hold of big corporations and addressing social inequities in our food systems. So, who really controls what we eat? Right now, it's mostly big corporations, government policies, and complex food systems that benefit the powerful. But it doesn't have to stay that way. By understanding food politics and supporting local, sustainable, and fair food systems, we can each play a part in reshaping who holds the power. Food isn't just fuel, it's a matter of social justice, health, and choice. If this has made you think differently about what's on your plate, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's ready to learn more about the real impact of our food choices. Let's keep asking the big questions, because together, we can make change happen.